Somewhere on the south lawn of the White House, this week, construction crews under the cover of dark worked through the night behind a chain link fence, building something that was never really announced. While taxpayers have been told for the umpteenth time that none of it will cost them a single dime. Before I get to that one project, I want to take inventory of the Trump White House renovation spree so far, the whole thing. Because at this point, it looks less like a presidency and more like a season of extreme home makeover that no one asked for. Because in just this term, Donald Trump has demolished the East Wing to build that ballroom. He's redone the Rose Garden twice. He installed an actual fighting cage on the grounds for a UFC event, and he's ruined the grass. He built that stupid presidential walk of fame mocking his predecessors. He paved a perfectly good walkway in slick granite, gold-plated the Oval Office with tacky home decor. He's renovated the Lincoln bathroom, and as of this week, started the secret construction on a brand new helicopter pad. And look, the helicopter part, the helipad, there is a legitimate reason behind it because these new Marine One helicopters, they scorch the lawn when they land. The exhaust, it vents downward, so somebody finally has to install a real pad instead of lighting the lawn on fire like your cousin Randy on the 4th. And Lockheed Martin says, since they created the helicopter that creates the problem, they're paying for it. But we've heard that story before because the helipad's not even the real story. The real story here is the update on that ballroom/panic room that Trump has sworn up and down on camera multiple times would be entirely privately funded. Quote, "Sir, we'll do it for nothing. This is the greatest honor," he claims that these donors have told him. Except records have shown that the administration has handed a $500 million contract to build that ballroom to a single construction company with no competitive bidding process whatsoever. No other company got the chance to even submit a bid, and when asked why they skipped the process required for basically every other government contract this size, even the secret ones, the White House's own paperwork says that disclosing the agency's needs would compromise national security. National security for a ballroom? Records also show that Trump himself was personally involved in negotiating that contract. We saw how that worked out for the reflecting pool. Normally, the national security justification, by the way, it gets used for things like classified weapon systems or intelligence infrastructure. So what I'm trying to tell you, folks, is this thing is not for parties. It's a bunker for Trump to hide in. And really, the South Lawn itself has now become this permanent construction zone. Crews are still repairing the grass that was torn up from that UFC fight in June. There's now a new fence up for the helipad. You've got cranes and a debris pile where the ballroom is sitting. And at some point, you've got to ask whether the people running this White House see the building as the nation's house or as a crappy fixer-upper that they're getting to flip with someone else's money. Because that sounds more accurate because, especially with the no bid part, that matters a lot more than you think. Because, look, government, it is boring. It is bureaucratic. And competitive bidding exists for a very boring, bureaucratic reason. It is how we as taxpayers get a fair price instead of whatever number a single favored contractor decides to write down, and then they do a job anyway, like they did with the reflecting pool. If you skip that process, you have no way of knowing whether your $500 million ballroom was a fair price or if it's a number that someone just pulled out of thin air, because no one else was allowed to even compete for the job. And we're not talking about a fighter jet here. We're allegedly talking about a room for parties. So tell me, if you had $500 million in taxpayer-adjacent money, what would you build? What would your ballroom look like? Wrong answers only. Look, Donald Trump said that this thing would cost you nothing. Yet it is now costing taxpayers $500 million and counting, and he hasn't even gotten to the landscaping. Subscribe, because the only thing that this White House renovates faster than the grounds are the stories about who's paying for it.